It has come to the notice of the management of Bank of Industry (BOI) that some unscrupulous persons are defrauding the general public by claiming to be the bank's agents. BOI insists that it does not engage persons or organizations as its agent to sell application forms or receive completed loan applications on its behalf. If you are a genuine entrepreneur and prospective customer, please freely walk into any of BOI's zonal offices nearest to you and obtain the application forms and list of requirements for accessing loans directly, free of all charges. You can also visit our website and social media platforms for other details. For more information, call our head office in Lagos 01271 5070-99 or Abuja Corporate Office 080-7399-0022 www.boinigeria.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Wealth Creation through Industrialization. I am Hadiza Olaoshibikun. Tonight's program will feature the recent inauguration of the 4th Bank of Industry's Board of Directors by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga. In the course of the inauguration, the Honorable Minister charged the new board to build on the solid achievements of their predecessors. Here are highlights of the inauguration by the Bank of Industry's 4th Board of Directors in its 13 years of existence. Happy viewing. The Bank of Industry (BOI) was reconstructed in 2001 out of the Nigerian Industrial Development Bank (NIDB). Ever since BOI was reconstructed, the bank has been through 3 different board of directors chaired by Ambassador Zakari Ibrahim, the pioneer BOI board chairman, Chief Olabode George, and Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu. Recently, the 4th Board of Directors of the Bank of Industry was inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, as part of the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
The constitution and inauguration of the board is part of the ongoing reforms of the federal government geared towards repositioning the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment as a major driver of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's transformation agenda. We commend His Excellency, Mr. President, for his courage of choice and inclusiveness reflected in the constitution of the new board. The 4th board comprises men and women of integrity with knowledge and relevant competence and experience in the public and the private sectors of the Nigerian economy. At this juncture, it is my singular honor and privilege to inaugurate the 4th Board of Directors of the Bank of Industry. The members of the board are Mr. Abdul Samad Rabiu, who is the chairman of the board, Mr. Rashid Ola Oluwa, who is the Managing Director, the CEO. Mohammed Alkali, who is an Executive Director, Operations, BOI. Wahid Olagunju, Executive Director, BOI. Kenneth Effa from the CBN. Abubakar Giza, representing Ministry of Finance Incorporation. Mr. Olufemi Fambango, Director from CBN. Mrs. Uju Hassan Baba, Director representing the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. And Chief Lawrence Osayemi, representing the Man Association of Nigeria.
The minister therefore urged the board and management of Bank of Industry not to relent in its effort in transforming the Nigerian industrial sector.
With the transformation agenda of Mr. President, which gave rise to the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, I must stress the fact that there's no greater expectation that the role of BOI will be felt more in the economy now and in the future more than ever before. Because now we have the country has given clear direction that we want to add value to our commodities going forward. That is manufacturing. That we want to industrialize as a nation, knowing that no nation has successfully moved from being a poor to a rich nation by relying on exporting raw materials without a strong industrial services and related services sector. We want to move from that nation that has specialized in exporting raw materials and exporting jobs to a country that produces the commodities, that adds value to those commodities in this country, that sells those commodities to our people in the country, but export finished and complete products. That way, we get a higher share of the global wealth. That is the direction the president is moving the country. That is the way we are diversifying the economy and transforming the economy. So the role of BOI has become far more important than ever. The future of the MSME as a sector rests squarely on how responsive you are to their funding needs. This sector, according to the 2010 survey, have about 17.25 million enterprises, employing 32 million people. And after the rebasing, this sector actually accounts for 45% of our GDP. So if we're ever going to have inclusive economic growth, this sector has to receive preferential priority attention from the Bank of Industry. Our objective as a country is not just to grow our economy, but to ensure that we have inclusive and sustainable economic growth.
He, however, commended the bank's various initiatives that had fared towards the development of MSMEs in the country.
I am aware that the Bank of Industry has had a number of initiatives already to support this group. Part of it is the bottom of the pyramid program, cooperative lending. So I know that it had started taking steps towards addressing this already. What I'm asking for is that now we scale it up and do far much more than we had done in the past. We're delighted that we have a new managing director, Mr. Rashid Olaoluwa, who I have had the opportunity to interact with on a number of occasions. And I'm delighted that his focus is exactly what we are saying, and that he's able, capable, after so many years' experience in the banking sector, to ensure that BOI achieves this objective. I therefore challenge you to rise to the occasion. There's no doubt that the bank's mission is to transform Nigeria's industrial sector, to play a major role in the transformation. The bank alone cannot transform the industrial sector. But the role of the bank is to play a major role, should be a major contributor to the transformation of the industrial sector of the country and integrate it into the global economy by providing financial and business support services to existing and new industries, especially that which will enable them attain modern capabilities to produce goods that are competitive in both domestic and external markets. Upholding this standard, we continue to earn the bank the rating it deserves and retain its place among leading self-sustaining development financial institutions. I must say that BOI has achieved that already by being a self-sustaining development financial institution. And for that, I commend the BOI and the management of BOI. In the light of the above, I urge you to formulate good policies, to set targets, monitor projects and programs that will drive the operations of the bank and encourage growth in priority sectors of the economy. Among those that have recently gained certain national strategic imperative are the National Industrial Revolution Plan, as I've said earlier on, and the National Enterprise Development Program, both recently launched by Mr. President. I have no doubt that the bank will be actively supportive of the twin endeavors cardinal to generating employment and wealth creation for teeming Nigerians, and a national endeavor for which this ministry is one of the key drivers.
The chairman of the newly constituted board, Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu, assured the minister of the board's continued support to the bank's actualizing its core mandate.
We are committed to ensuring that this confidence bestowed on us will be upheld with the highest ethical standard and professionalism. We have identified and will continue to work towards the realization of Mr. President's transformation agenda, revolving around reforms of key sectors of the economy, namely education, infrastructure, housing and construction, manufacturing, automotive, health, entertainment, among so many others. On our part, we will do whatever is necessary, Honorable Minister, to ensure that we support the government in its desire to enhance the economic well-being of the average Nigerian, thereby transforming the fortunes of our great country. Let me seize this opportunity to thank and commend the Honorable Minister for Trade and Investment and his team for transforming the ministry and his resolve and commitment in worthwhile investments in the power, manufacturing, agriculture, petroleum and mining sectors, among so many others, worth billions of dollars. The projects being undertaken by the ministry, particularly its ambitious program, Investor Care, in partnership with other ministries and key international agencies like the UK Department for International Development, World Bank, and so many others, have reduced significantly the tailbacks, limiting the full actualization of Nigeria's trade potentials and repositioning the nation's economy to serve as a catalyst for job creation, wealth generation, and economic transformation. The Honorable Minister's tenure at the ministry has definitely enhanced the investment climate and fortunes of the country, as we have seen an influx of so much foreign direct investment into Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
The Managing Director of BOI, Mr. Rashid Olaoluwa, also allayed the fear of some members of the press in loans approval for micro, small and medium enterprises across the country.
I would like to know, given your experience, if you will be looking at stratifying some of these special loans you have for intervention in the SME, because our experience has been that whenever monies are set aside, only a section of the country takes up a chunk of that amount. For instance, you want to intervene in SME, you set aside 200 billion, and SMEs in Lagos alone take up about 150 billion, leaving, I'm just giving an instance, that may not be right, but is there a way you are able to peg this amount so that every region has an opening that they can buy into? Thank you.
That's a genuine concern, and the way we're going to address this is to look at regional distribution of credits. And I think when the Honorable Minister was speaking, he also referred to the fact that we needed to, look at the sectoral distribution, we needed to look at regional distribution. And, when the chairman was also speaking, he mentioned the fact that we have established regional offices, that ensures that we are closer to the people. And in fact, we are going to go a step further, to look at the possibility of establishing offices in some more states. We have partnership with a number of states, and we would, consider the option of actually having our offices in those states as well. In terms of the sector distribution, what we're looking at is the possibility of having sector-specific interventions. So in addition to the general SME interventions, we will look at different subsectors of SMEs and actually target them, and again, this will help, the overall transformation agenda of Mr. President.
The minister also clarified some issues concerning MSME financing at the inauguration.
The message I am getting is that we need to prioritize the MSME sector. That's the key message I'm getting across. We need to get funds across to these people and help them run their business, start and run their businesses and finance them, because if we ignore that sector, we will not have inclusive and sustainable economic growth in the country. And that is the largest group, if you look at them as a sector. If they contribute close to 45% of the country's GDP, and they account for at least 32 million people, if you look at the workforce of Nigeria, that's very, very significant. So the idea is that you cannot afford to ignore them. You must understand the issues and have a way of reaching them. That's the key message. The management will look at exactly how they're going to operationalize this, but the important thing is to make sure that that sector is well looked after. So I have no doubt that the current management of BOI, that they are very sensitive to the points you raised, and that those issues are going to be addressed by them.
The inauguration of the fourth board of BOI is indeed the right step in the right direction. With the words of the Honourable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, and the assurance from the new board and management of the Bank of Industry, the future for MSMEs across the country looks bright. Also, the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to transform Nigeria's economy as one of the best in the world will also gain the right momentum. Welcome back. Those were the high points of the recent inauguration of the fourth board of directors of the Bank of Industry. Join us again next week, same time, same station, for another interesting package. It's on this note that will draw the curtain on this week's edition of Wealth Creation Through Industrialization. I am Hadiza Olaoshibikoins. Good evening and have an enterprising week.